Hello, today we'll be talking about rational numbers, new chapter, and it has many subtopics. I'll be stopping at fractions, rational numbers, addition, subtraction of rational numbers, multiplication, division of rational numbers. And look at how cute this picture is. It is related to our topic, piece of cake. And mixed operations, of course. Now start with the understanding fraction. What fraction even is? A fraction is a part of a whole thing, or a part of a group of things. It's like when we say about pieces of some things. For example, the pizza on the left is a whole. This is whole pizza. Now, there is one pizza and it's cut into 5 equal slices or parts or pieces. When we say 2/5, 2/5 of the pizza has been eaten, we mean that 2 of the 5 equal slices of the pizza have been eaten. You see? 2/5 represents the eaten part of the whole pizza. Therefore, 2/5 is a fraction because it represents part of a whole. Number of parts that we're talking about, 2. Total number parts, 5. Now, about terms of a fraction, we have to know what do we call alama bölümü. A fraction consists of 2 numerals. The horizontal bar is called the fraction bar. It consists numerator, fraction bar, denominator. 2 is a numerator and 5 is a denominator. We write it 2/5 and say 2/5 or 2/5. As I told you, right? We can read a fraction in different ways. 1/2 is read as 1/2 or 1/2. 1/4 or a quarter, 1/5, 1/5, 3/5, 3/5, 5/3, 5/3. Now look at some examples. We pronounce these numbers as written on the right. Look at the first fraction. We say it as 1/3, 5/6, 5/6. C, 7/9, 7/9, 4/11, 4/11, 7/4, 7/4. Types of fraction. Of course, fraction has different types. So, first one is proper fractions or simple fractions. What is it? If the numerator of a fraction is smaller than its denominator, it is called a proper fraction or simple fraction. For example, 3/7, 2/8, 11/12, 999/1001, 0/5. These are all proper fractions. Proper fractions whose numerators are 1 are called unit fractions. 1/8 or 1/8, 1/19, 1/5. These are called unit fractions. The second type of fraction is improper fractions. I'll repeat these words. Improper fractions. The definition: if the numerator of a fraction is greater than or equal to its denominator, it is called an improper function. Improper. Example: 13/5, 21/2, 7/7. Improper fractions. Now, what is mixed numbers? Now, guys, please know the definition and try to explain these terms, because I will be giving you tasks with questions, not only problems. We have to be able to say and define what terms are. Now, about mixed numbers, suppose that we have 2 whole pizzas and 1/5 of a pizza. We can write that we have 2 1/5 pizza. Pay attention to how I say this number. 2 plus 1/5 equals 2 1/5 or 2 1/5. Now 2 here is a whole number and fraction part is 1/5. 1/5 is a fractional part. We say this number as mixed number 2 1/5. Definition: a number which consists of a whole number and a proper fraction is called a mixed number. For example, 2 1/5, 1 3/5, 19 1/11, 4 9ths, 3/5. Say it as you wish, how it is convenient for you to pronounce. In this example, we determine which type of fractions these numbers are. First number, 3/10 is proper, simple fraction. 7/7, improper. 9/8 or 9/8. 9 is greater than 8. That's why it's called improper fraction. D, 1.5, 1/2, mixed number. 1/5, proper fraction or simple fraction. And unit fraction, 1/5 болғандықтан. F, 100, 1/100, mixed number. How do we write an improper fraction as a mixed number? We have to switch improper fraction like 11/5 into a mixed number. We divide the numerator by the denominator. This is a very important question and answers. Divide the numerator by the denominator. 11 divided by 5 equals to 2, and with remainder 1. And we write the quotient fraction bar, remainder on the top, and denominator at the bottom. So it will be 2 1/5. How do we write a mixed number as an improper fraction? For example, 4 2/5 is a mixed number. To write it as an improper fraction, we multiply 4 by 5. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. So it will be as 22/5. What is equivalent fractions? You can see in the figures that these two pictures, like A and B, are equivalent, C and D are equivalent. Fractions which have the same value are called equivalent fractions. For example, 1/2 equals 2/4. Because when we simplify 2/4 and we divided both sides with 2 by 2, we get 1/2. Same with 3/6, 4/8. These are all equivalent fractions. Simplifying and reducing a fraction, I think it is very simple and easy for you. When we simplify, in this example, 15/35, we divide both denominator and numerator by 5. We get 3/7. So 5 is a common factor of 15 and 35. New word, a fraction is reduced. Writing a fraction in lowest terms is called reducing the fraction. Reducing the fraction, okay? Rational numbers can be two, like positive and negative. If a rational number represents a point on the number line on the right side of a 0, then it's called a positive number. We say it as 2 over 7. We don't say it's positive, or we don't say is as plus 2 over 7. No, we just say 2 over 7, and it is called a positive rational number. What about negative rational number? We say here, we mentioned that it is a negative number or minus. It is less than 0. For example, minus 5 over 4, or you can say negative 5 over 4. There exists a problem also about comparing and ordering rational numbers. Let us compare 14 over 17 and 11 over 15. To compare this, we draw them on the number line, and we can see that 14 over 17 is closer to 1, so that's why it is larger and bigger than 11 over 15. So 11 over 15 is less than 14 over 17. About ordering the fractional numbers, in maths we can write numbers in descending order. I think that you remembering these terms. We talked about it before. Descending order or in ascending order. Descending means written from left to right, from biggest to smallest, and ascending order is from the smallest to the biggest numbers. Don't confuse. We know this part, LCD, lowest common denominator, least common multiple. To the question how to add rational numbers, we answer like we do not add the denominators. We find first their common multiple. Look at the 3 sevenths plus 2 sevenths. We know that denominator will be 7. It is a common number for two fractions, and we add only numerators, only the numbers on the top. 3 plus 2 equals to 5 over 7. When we add just a whole number to a fraction, simple fraction, we add it just as it stays, like 3 plus 4 over 5 will be just 3 4 over 5, or 3 4/5. Okay? Now what about if they have different denominators? We find their LCD, of course, least common divisor. The least common divisor of 1 over 2 and 1 over 3 will be 6. And now we write 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6 equals to 5 over 6. So we find the common divisor of two numbers. For example, to add these three fractions, 2 over 3 plus 1 over 4 plus 5 over 6, we find LCD. LCD will be 12. Skipping into subtraction of rational numbers, it is the same thing. We just subtract numerators and find also LCD. Multiplication of rational numbers. How do we multiply two fractions? When we multiply, for example, 3 over 11 by 5 over 6, we multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. For example, 3 multiplied by 5, 11 multiplied by 6 will be 15 over 66. Or when we simplify this number, we will get 5 over 22. What about division of rational numbers? How do we divide, right? Now, to divide two rational numbers, we take the reciprocal of the second rational number and multiply it by the first number. The formula: if A over B and C over D are two rational numbers, then A over B divided by C over D equals to A over B multiplied by D over C. What did we do? We just switched the places of numerator and denominator of the second fraction, c over d to d over c. And we just multiplied both fractions. For example, 3 over 4 divided by 2 over 5, we switch 2 over 5 to 5 over 2. So we get 3 over 4 multiplied by 5 over 2, and we multiply 3 by 5, 4 by 2, 15 over 8. This is what fraction? This is improper fraction because 15 is larger than 8. And we switch it to the mixed fraction will be 1/7/8 or 1/7 over 8. Now let me explain this example. Perform the mixed operations using the BEDMAS rule. Mixed operations. How do we do when we have mixed operations or complex operation? Order of operations called this rule. They created a certain rule called BEDMAS or BEDMAS. Look at these words. First, we will look at the brackets, if we have any, then exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction. Now let's try to explain the first example. A, 2 minus 2 over 3 over 2 plus 2 over 3. We look at, we don't have any brackets and exponents and now looking at the BEDMAS operation, we don't have any brackets, exponents, and division here. We just have multiplication. So we look at the multiplication first, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. When we multiply these two numbers, we get 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 over 3 divided by 8 over 3. Now this is called a complex fraction because we have fractions in the numerator and denominator of this big fraction. Now in fact this is a division, so we switch it into the multiplication. We change the places of the fraction 8 over 3. And we simplify these 4 and 8. We divided them by 2, so we get 1 over 2. Also, we simplified 3 and 3.